House ran a writers' competition. We scoped out our 12 chapters. Originally the book wasn't called Wired for Life, it was actually called Get Wired for Success. But as we wrote the book and wrote the proposal, we saw that this book was about more than success. It's about fulfillment, it's about happiness, it's about all those things that people want to achieve to have their life well lived. So we actually won the Hay House Writers Competition, and that awarded us an international publishing contract and the opportunity to really put our heads down and write Wired for Life.
First thing we address is how the brain really works. It's fascinating information, it's very recent information, and for a lot of people it's quite surprising.
We've all been training our brains since the day we were born, and our brain is really no different to any muscle in our bodies. If we use it in a certain way, if we think certain thoughts, if we do certain things, we're wiring up our brain and we're shaping our lives.
Then we talk about 5 brain traps, which are the default responses that our brain can slip into in common situations.
Our brains don't necessarily distinguish between what's good for us and what's bad for us, so sometimes we can really fall into these traps that aren't taking us where we want to be in life. And Wired for Life's really about giving the reader the information to know what these traps are.
Then the last component talks about, so what can I do about it? And we talk about 3 steps that everyone should be embracing to cultivate their life and their mind. So it's waking up to everyday moments, being switched on, being in the driver's seat and being alert to what you're focusing on. The second step being thinking differently, and that is about choosing your mindset, that we're not just autopilot creatures that have to follow the habits in our mind that we've already got. We can choose what we think and how we react to things. And the third step, which is to grow and cultivate your mind for life. The book is not just a non-fiction sort of book about information. It follows the stories of 5 people.
A few people that had an early read of the book would say to us, is that me in the book? It's good to actually see that people relate to the people that are in the book and they can learn about themselves through their stories.
We all have common experiences in life, challenges, all have to find a way to overcome them, and probably all fall into some of the same traps when we try to do that. But we all are also chasing that life well lived. Our definition may be different and our picture of that may be different. Probably as different as we look. We're all unique and we all have a unique desire of what we want to create in our lives. But the challenges we face are sometimes the same, and it's very hard to learn from others, but we hope the stories in our book are the sorts of stories that people can identify with and see that there is a pathway through. People talk about exercising every day, that 20 minutes exercise is good for your body. Well, we really believe that 20 minutes exercising the mind is good for the brain and it can change your life. This is a habit to adopt for life, but it's not a hard one. It's actually a very enjoyable one and very rewarding.
We say it's anyone with a brain, because I know personally I didn't learn about the brain and how it operates and how it drives your behaviour at school, and that's probably one of our greatest wishes and desires behind writing this book, so everyone can have the information to really understand those, we call them Brain 101 principles, the absolute basics about the brain, to again make choices that will lead you to where you want to go in life.
So people ask, is it self-help meets neuroscience? And I suppose you could say that it is, but I think what has changed with this new information about how the brain works is that self-help has lost its sort of soft, touchy-feely sort of label and has become very practical ways and techniques for cultivating effectiveness, productivity, happiness, great leadership, and for people to change some of the things they've been trapped in.
Our key strength is really, it's always been as translators of the emerging research. So where we put our focus is making that research really practical and putting it into simple but powerful exercises that can change people's lives.
For us, it's always the same message, that cultivating your mind is the key to success. It's also the key to fulfillment. It's also the key to happiness. It's the key to great parenting, and it's the key to effective leadership. Showing people how to cultivate the mind is always at the foundation of everything we do. We continue to do leadership programs because a lot of people there are looking for that information about how their brain works, how they can be more effective, how they can lead better. and what they're learning there they're taking into life. And that's one of the reasons we started doing the Mind Gardener guides. When people said, can you give me something to take home after this program to keep doing these new practices that I've found so useful?
Our vision really is that everyone has access to mind gardening tools because everyone is a mind gardener.
We think of Lonely Planet guides to the world. When we say mind gardener, we like people to think guides to the world of their mind.